Hey guys, it's Chuke here from Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. I wanted to ask everyone to please hit the subscribe button if you can. I would really appreciate it. But a question I get asked a lot is sometimes I'll get DMs. Even a lot of my friends have asked me this. Hey, I'm moving to Alaska. I've got this large firearm collection and how do I get it up there to Alaska? Now, it's kind of a complex issue and I don't know exactly. It kind of confuses me, but I think I have an idea and I want to talk about the four main ways, even a fifth way if you're in the military, of how you can get your firearms up here. Now, I always talk about how we have a ever revolving door of our population. It's mostly professional workers and military people move to Alaska. Their wife gets very depressed because it's so cold for 9 months out of the year and dark, and it's a depressing place to live in. You really need to travel or do a lot of outdoor stuff. So people come up here and they typically last up to 3 years, and then they say, you know what, I'm moving to Florida. I'm leaving. I see it happen all the time. It's pretty interesting, but some of us hang in there. But let's just jump into it. Number 4 is the obvious method, and that's driving through Canada. So this part is very confusing. The laws keep changing. My dad used to go to gun shows in Reno, and once in a while he would just drive down with a bunch of firearms. He hasn't done this for probably 7 or 8 years, but last time, maybe 6, the last time he did, you have to get paperwork months in advance. You fill it out. There are some firearms that they absolutely won't let you have. People argue about this because it's very confusing. I always thought that long guns and shotguns were fine, maybe a certain revolver with a longer barrel, but I was told that pistols are an absolute no-no, and I think they've changed that recently. But anyways, my dad was able to take a whole bunch down. He just had the paperwork signed. I think he forgot to tell him about some of the stuff and he made it through. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But that is one way you can do it, but I think it is very restrictive and it's very difficult, and people have complained about that. I probably wouldn't do it unless I had like an antique firearm. But that is the fourth way. We'll go 4 to 1. The third way is fly. Now, some people will plan a trip. One person will drive the U-Haul. The spouse will fly with stuff, and they may make several trips. And, you know, depending on what airline, you can take, you know, maybe a couple gun cases, rifle cases. You can put, you know, a few rifles in there as long as it's not over 50 pounds. Ammo can't be over 30 to 50 pounds, or 3 boxes. Every airline has its own thing. Sometimes they don't go by it exactly, but that is what some people do. One person will drive and one person will fly maybe a couple times with some of the firearms. Number 2 is Barge. Now this one is interesting. So this one, there's ports in Seattle where you can get on a ship. Some people will have their firearms in their car. You have to declare it, fill out some paperwork in the port, and you can travel in your car up to a port in Alaska, and you can barge ammo and your firearms. Some people will even get a pallet, and you don't even have to be on there, and you could just stack up, you know, 200 pounds of ammo, maybe some firearms, and barge everything up there. And I don't understand how it works exactly, but I do know, I do have friends who have done that. I know it can be done, especially with the ammo. I don't know if you can have a firearm by itself on a pallet. I know you could bring tons of ammunition on the pallets, and, you know, it takes a long time to get up here. But I do know if it's in your car, you can declare it, fill out the paperwork, and stay with your car in a ship as you come up here. And those are those ferries. The barge ships are different than the ferries, and those are the ones where you can buy a pallet. So it's kind of confusing. And finally, we have FFL. Like I was saying, LW Road called me. He's like, oh, you know, what's a good FFL? I told him EDC Alaska. He contacted him, and he had a small collection that he just had transferred from an FFL in the lower 48, as we call it, the lower 48, to Alaska. And then he flew, drove, whatever, got here and then, you know, paid the fees for the FFL fee and got his firearms through the FFL dealer. And finally, I've had, if you are in the military, and we have tons of people, you know, getting sick of being up here, so they leave, but when they move up here, when you're PCSing or whatever, they have those federal contracts of those people that load everything up in those boxes, those big metal boxes. And there have been some people that have had their safes and their firearms transferred that way. I think it's a little easier to get ammo and firearms transferred that way because it's all federal and they have those contracts for military people. So I do believe I have heard some people doing it that way. So those are the four, actually 5 ways that you can get your collection up here and vice versa. So let me know if I'm wrong. I would be very interested to hear if there's any more ways or if I missed any of the details of these ways because it is kind of confusing. So thanks for tuning in. I will have a video tomorrow morning on the new Hellcat Comp OSP. Really excited about that. Thanks for tuning in. It's Chuke, your friend in the field.
My name is Chuke. I like to trade my guns just for fun, but now I have none. Oh, look, get shot by a bear, but I don't care. I got a 10mm. Chuke's Outdoor Adventures. Watch you all die every time, guaranteed.